And now it's Renovate and Build. 60 minutes dedicated to building and renovating solutions. Here's your hosts, Jim and Sandra.
Good morning and welcome to the show. We're so excited to finally hit the airwaves. My name is Sandra Lummis, and I'd like to introduce you to my co-host, my boss, and the founder and president of Fair Trade Works, Jim Perkins. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Sandra. How you doing?
Can you believe this is real?
Absolutely. This is fun. We're super excited to be here, and this is not in our script here, but I just wanted to say before we begin, I just want to say a big hi to all my global fans and all my fans back in Wales and England there. So.
Well, we must be reaching a lot further than I knew. I guess we can send them the link in our podcast as well. They can join us on fairtradeworks.biz. Well, Jim, I know you've been on AM 650 quite a bit with Sterling Fox and Tom Lucas on Real Estate Radio still on Saturdays. But for you, it must be rewarding to finally have an hour to talk construction.
Absolutely, yeah. As you know me pretty well. I've always got a lot to say, especially about construction. So, we're super excited to be here. And construction is in my blood, in my heritage. You can probably tell from my funny accent that I'm a British chap, and it's all I know. So, I've worked globally around the world and kind of advanced my career, which brought me to a place a couple of years ago where I could finally start a company like Fair Trade Works and develop it, launch it into the marketplace in a sector which will be working in the rest of my life, and really passionately trying to make a change in a sector which I believe is super outdated. There's so many problems out there, and that's what the show is all about. It's not full of roses and flowers. We're gonna talk the dirty about construction and the real problems out there and the solutions that we're trying to change and offer to our consumers. So.
And I guess we'll have to take some time to dispel some of the myths, because I know I grew up with picking the middle bid. My dad told me to do that when I got my very first place. So are we going to be working a lot with myths and helping bring experts on to dispel them?
Yeah, we're going to play around with the old myths and kind of dismantle them. Like, it's 2014. We landed on the, technology's going crazy. We landed on the moon a long time ago. We need to be a little bit more sophisticated in the construction industry, and that's how we take it more from a business side than just kind of hammers and nails. And even how projects are built and how they're planned and the budgets are brought together. There is no market value in construction. Nobody knows what it's really worth. And all these hundreds of companies, all these tiny companies owned by people who are, maybe underqualified. They may be good at knocking in nails, but are they good business owners? And it just creates this, quite frankly, disaster that is the construction industry, and consumers just don't know where to start, and they just don't know how to navigate it. And with such large amount of dollars involved, I think it's time for change. And again, that's what Fair Trade Works is all about: being third party and really working with consumers, creating a system and guiding them through the construction process.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be fun, and it sounds like we've got a lot of learning in store, especially to share some of the experts on our roster today. A lot of expertise coming through the door and on the phone, so we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
In just a few moments, we're going to be hearing from one in particular.
Yep, that's right. In just a few minutes, we'll be hearing from Mr. Tony Ionetti from DLC Mortgage Matches. Tony offers great solutions and we actually put him forward to our consumers. He offers great solutions and a huge wealth of knowledge in the money lending business, which is obviously a key component when you're doing any sort of construction project, because there's a large amount of money involved. So you want to be making sure that you're getting the right money at the right rate and structuring it all so it's not just a construction process, but it's a financial success as well.
And I'm going to hit him with look at all the news clippings I brought with me, but it's the never-ending high cost of living in Vancouver, so we're going to be talking to him about that. As well, heritage and character homes have also been heating up the headlines lately. This morning we're going to be speaking with, are you ready for this, cultural and heritage resource expert. Can you imagine how big his business card is? I mean, that's quite the title. His name is Donald Luxton, and we're going to be hearing his opinion on if the city's new heritage home legislation is going to work, and more importantly, why.
Also ahead, our product face-off, and don't worry, folks, there's going to be no body checking in the studio except for between myself and Sandra here, maybe. And instead, two of our Fair Trade Works employees have hit the stores this week, and they've been looking for the coolest products for our homes, and they'll be sharing their insights.
But first, let's find out what's happening in our neighborhood. We thought it would be really interesting each week if we found residents from Greater Vancouver area to share what's happening in their streets, just some of the local information. For our very first edition of Neighborhood News, I almost need like a news stinger for that. We're joined by Canada's leading franchise expert, Norm Friend.
Welcome to the show, Norm. How you doing there?
Hey, Jim. Just doing really well. Looking forward to a relaxing weekend.
Excellent. I just want to say before we ask Norm a couple of questions, Norm is not only Canada's #1 franchise expert, but he's also the past president of the Canadian Home Renovation Association and an award-winning author. So he brings a great wealth of knowledge into business in the construction industry. And Norm's been a friend and associate of Fair Trade Works since day one, and he's definitely a mentor that I've turned towards for advice, and just being somebody that's been in the back wings and always been super helpful from his huge experience in business and construction. So,
well, Norm, today you're representing West Van. How many years have you lived there?
I've lived in West Van and specifically in British properties for around 15 years.
Wow, so you've got a good knowledge base there.
Hey, Norma, you must have seen lots of changes. Tell me one good thing and one bad thing that you in what's happened in West Vancouver. In what's changed? Tell me one good thing, one bad thing.
To be honest, Jim, I'd have to search for the good things. But, most of the changes have actually taken place in the last few years. And, there are probably three major things or major issues. But I think the prominent one would be the rapid change from the homes that were built in the 50s, around 2,500, 2,800 square feet, to the huge homes that are being constructed now, where developers buy homes and tear them down for 1.82 million lot value, and so they can build houses of 10,000 square feet. So visually, that's made a drastic change to the neighborhood, as one house has got torn down after another, and some of them are still boxed in between mansions, so to speak.
Yeah, there's no real plan up there, right? And as you say, like, money doesn't mean sense too. I know lots of people have built up there, spent a huge amount of money, and haven't quite done it right, or maybe not had the right people involved. And I believe some of those multi-million-dollar structures up there are going to be in bad shape in the not too distant future, right? So what I see up there is all this kind of chopping and changing. So I definitely agree with that, Norm.
Well, as you know, my perspective, a lot of it is from the street view, because I walk my dog every day, several times a day, and go different routes around the neighborhood. And so I see, big houses being constructed, and some of them take 4 or 5 months. Others take a couple of years. There's one up the road that's been constructed really, really well, and they've I've seen the detail, and that's taken them probably 2 years. It's going to go on the market in a month or so, whereas some of the others are kind of thrown together really quickly, and because a lot of the buyers are from out of the country, and to them, the houses look the same in terms of quality, but as you well know, what's behind the wall is completely different, and there's going to be problems that will show up in the future.
Absolutely.
So, Norm, besides these mega houses going in and not of great quality always, is there any other hot topics that are taking place as far as development and construction in West Van?
Well, I think some of it is kind of, I was going to say demographical, because, you have to remember that the people that purchasing these homes are not local buyers. They're primarily Asian buyers, and some from Iran. And if you go around the neighborhood, again, as you know, even in Vancouver, there are pockets, and British properties is a pocket, especially north of the the #1 freeway. So up the hill, and it's a completely different market, because you don't see many Caucasian listings, realtors listing, because they don't have Asian buyers. So what it ends up with is not knowing people, because a lot of the houses are unoccupied. Of the 7 houses immediately around where I live, only 2 are occupied, which one of them is mine.
Wow.
Yeah, one is occupied 6 months of the year, and the other 4 are maintained, but no one's living in them. So you don't see or get to know your neighbors. So, the change in the construction has totally changed the face of the neighborhood, if you like.
So you have a lot of privacy. That's the good thing. Just not a lot of community.
The lots are so big, and most of them now, the bigger places, have got gates on them, which basically says, don't come in here.
Right.
I don't want to be a neighbor. So, it has changed the face of the neighborhood, considerably. Because local buyers, on the other side, I guess the positive that Jim was looking for is that people who own their home since the 50s and, mortgage clear, they can sell it and downsize and go buy a condo in downtown Vancouver, because they've got the equity.
Great for retirement, Norm.
Yeah, so.
All right.
As Robert, go ahead, Jim, sorry.
Oh, no, Norm, I'll let you finish up there. Do you have one more point, or?
No, I was just going to say, you've heard me say it before, and that's Robert Kennedy's quote, which is so profound. He said that, everybody wants progress, but change is its motivator, and change has its enemies. Everybody wants progress and don't necessarily want change. I guess what you have to figure out is what is progress. And, are all these huge homes with overseas buyers and nobody living in them, is that progress? What does it do to the neighborhood? As I say, people can cash out, so, there are benefits there. But I think in terms of a neighborhood, it kind of destroys it.
Well said.
Absolutely, Norm. It's different times ahead. So thanks, Norm, so much. And what are you up to today? You're heading back to, I know you spend most of your working days these days developing successful franchise companies and really playing with the big franchises and taking them to new heights. So I hope you get some time off this weekend and enjoy your big West Van yard there.
Yeah, keep the sun shining.
Cheers, Norm.
Thanks, Norm.
James. Thank you, Sandra.
We've been speaking with Norm Friend, Canada's leading franchise expert, and now, of course, our resident neighborhood news reporter. If you'd like to share hot topics with Norm to be broadcast on the show for West Van, visit our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/renovate-build. Or you can also visit our AM 650 website page, and you'll see the links to our Facebook page there.
And throughout the show, we'll be continually telling you how you can share your questions and ideas.
Now, Jim, I was flipping through the papers. As I said, I'm a news junkie and go through at least 3 a day. And I found out that house prices in Vancouver have gone up 6.2% from last year at this time. Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But, again, you know me. So I believe that we're really in our infant stage here in the Greater Vancouver markets and in the Canadian markets. And I still believe that there's a long way to go. And as the global economy comes on, their eyes on Vancouver, I really think there's going to be some... It's just going to continue to evolve and continue to grow, and it's certainly going to be some interesting times in the construction industry.
Well, coming up in just a few minutes on Renovate and Build, we are going to be hearing from a consultant and owner of DLC Mortgage Matchers, Tony Ionetti, and I'm sure he shares some of your views. He's going to be talking to us and giving his advice on how we can use our money wisely and, of course, meet the ever-increasing living costs here in Vancouver.
That sounds great. And also, if you haven't heard, my team at Fairtrade Works is working on the 100-year-old Rosemary, which is a 15,000 square foot Heritage A home located on Selkirk Drive in Vancouver. And we're super proud and excited to say that she's been saved by an overseas investor. And we're definitely going to talk more about saving these heritage homes in the city and the new legislation that was coming in to prevent the demolition. And shortly we have heritage and cultural expert Donald Luxton in the wings, and he'll be sharing his thoughts on what can be done.
There's still lots more ahead. This is Renovate and Build, powered by Fairtrade Works with Jim and Sandra.